my shirt or is it in the inside? Blood hand, blood shirt. All right, so where I'm at now, I'll catch you guys up real quick. So we did start this as a simple rear exhaust installation. We were gonna do the downpipe and the 200 cell high flow cat. But what turned into a simple exhaust installation has now got to the point where I'm pulling the turbo out. Radiator's gone, fan's gone. So we keep getting deeper because we need to get something off to get to something else. Well, so basically this part of the exhaust that bolts onto the hot side of the turbo, these bolts are super, super tight, and there's one back here that's difficult to get to. It's gonna be way easier for me to pull the turbo. So I've got the oil feed line disconnected, the coolant line disconnected, the oil drain back line is disconnected, vacuum lines to the wastegate are disconnected. So now I've just got this one bolt that holds the turbo to this little pedestal here. Got that loose, intercooler line's off. I'm gonna take that bolt out and take the turbo out. So I think Matt should just buy a new turbo now, huh Mike? Shouldn't he just buy a bigger one? More boost, more horsepowers?
Seriously.
So anyway, that's where I'm at. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it perched like that, lower the car down, and then we'll pull it out to the top. I would hate to do all this on the ground. I know what it's like to have to do it on the ground because I used to do all my cars laying on the ground, jack stands, up top, down below, back and forth, back and forth. It is so nice to have a lift. I'm like spoiled rotten now. So, Turbski is ready to come out. There it is. Oh baby, we have no room with all these screwdrivers. All these wear wrenches over here. All right. So there she is. We got coolant dripping out. See, we use this place, huh, Mike?
Yeah,
this is a real shop, Mike.
We're getting real serious.
Look at that twin scroll. It's a little baby. Let's see. I don't know much about this car. I mean, other than I know what it is and I know specs and stuff, but I don't know who makes this turbo. Mitsubishi makes turbos, but I don't know if this is a Mitsubishi turbo. My old Volvo 850 turbo wagon had a Mitsubishi turbo on it.
Like, this might be the first turbo laying out here on the bench.
I think it is, Mike. I think this is, isn't this the first, no, this is not the first turboed car Matt's owned. He had the F80. This is what I got to take off here. So I got that one out. I got this one broken loose. I think it's this one. But this one, it was right up against the firewall's about right there. You can't see around the corner. And there's one underneath here. There. That would be difficult to get. So I think I'm gonna go eat some lunch and then we'll take this off, put the new one on, or decide if we're getting a new turbo.
Yeah.
Talk to Maddie, find out if he, in fact, I mean, it's out. The only thing is, if we do it, I can't put it back together for a while.
It's all right. We can get a turbo because we got turn 14, Mike.
We can get one right away. Mm-hmm. So what should we get? Like a big one?
Big boy.
Like what size? What are you thinking?
I'm not sure.
I don't even know. 63, 73? I'm just gonna throw a number out there. I think that'd be pretty big for this car.
That would be big.
Because that's what's on my 7.3.
Yeah.
That's a big turbo. Anyway, all right. I'm gonna go wash my hands and eat.
For lunch, Mike?
I made some stuff last night, Mike.
What'd you get?
It's cinnamon rolls.
No.
Some extra icing. Wouldn't that be good? I could use that right now. But I do have my unsweetened coffee. I made Italian sausage, chicken Italian sausage.
Mike, you're a real renaissance.
And then I made some sauce.
Yeah.
And then I put it over organic white rice, Mike. I'm trying carbs again, just a little trickling it in. All right, let's wash our hands, eat, and I'll get this off. I'll talk to Matt, figure out if we're doing a big turbo or not. He's probably not gonna want it yet. Ate my lunch, so now we're gonna pull this off. This was the one easy bolt I could get to. I put penetrant on all the other ones. I already explained, they're kind of tough to get to and they're really tight, so I'm gonna use an impact that'll make it much easier. So, get this one down here. It's a bolt. That. And then there's one right there where I have to use a wrench on. That one's the one that was tough to get to. I can't get it with this, so I'll have to put a wrench on it. Whacking everything, Michael. Getting this. All right, ready? Let's see if we can get it. Coffee's going everywhere, Michael. Oh gosh, we got a mess going on, Mike. I hate to laugh, but holy crap, there's no room to work. Is this? That's Matt's bottle. Oh boy, that's a good faux pas there. Oh gosh, oh boy. We got it off though. Okay, I'm more worried about my. I wanted my coffee, Mike. There we go.
What kind of coffee is
It is the Califia Farms.
Like, it looks a little creamy there.
I like a lot of half and half, Mike. I don't put sugar, so I put a lot of half and half. I think we should move some of this stuff, Michael. I really don't have much room to work. Can we move all these tools? Why won't somebody buy these so they're out of the way? Looks like the 84 millimeter cold side's the way to go for about 1,000 horse, Mike, or Matt. Maybe.
I keep getting all of these Subaru videos sent to me now.
Why?
I don't know, because I guess I got it in EVO. Then when I sent you, I was cracking
Yeah,
up.
that was hilarious. Yeah, that was
I
really.
thought it was a serious video.
That was funny. That was funny. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
They're gonna make it. It's gonna be a nice little upgrade. That little.
Save some weights. I guess we'll probably reuse
I
that.
got a new one.
Oh, you did? I know it is thicker. Whoa, yeah. Well, sure it's fine.
Round it out. Better flow.
Better flow,
Horsepower.
more power. Yep.
All about the horsepower.
So I'm taking these studs out because we're going to replace them with these 12-point ARP bolts Matt bought and stainless steel washers. So double nut this. There was another stud. This is the second one. So I'll get this one out and then we can put it all back together, get the turbo back in the car, and maybe start putting some stuff back together today. You know, before long, if I keep on this route, I'll be pulling injectors and doing the upsides and everything, bigger fuel pump. I think he's going to keep this baby turbo on there for a while, get the feel of it, see how he likes the car, do what we can do bolt-on wise and see how much performance you can gain with doing it this way with a tune, and then, you know, maybe later explore a larger turbo. Ooh, Matty bought that bolt, but I don't think that goes. I don't think they thought that out very well. There's no way to get a bolt in there. Everywhere else we can. That's the hidden one. I'm gonna put the stud back in there. So,
I mean, I didn't buy this as a package. I like.
Oh, you did?
This is me Mormon shopping here.
Mormon
so.
shopping. Yeah. Okay, so we'll put the stud.
Just
back
put the exhaust on. Take a few minutes.
2 minutes. I love it. Famous last words.
Here's the alternator belt and our valve timing belt. Boom. This car is going to be dialed.
All right, so this new pretty piece is installed. I had to use one of the factory studs. I had to put it back in because there's not enough room to get, you know, obviously you can tell right here, the bolt would not fit in there because of this is too close to the flange. So I'm gonna use this bolt where it bolts to the pedestal. I'm gonna use it here, so that way we'll at least utilize that pretty stainless bolt. So let's set it back in place, start putting it back together before Matt decides to take more things apart. I did not touch the gasket for the oil drain back, so that looks perfectly fine. Just down here, and I have to kind of sort of set it in place. And then just gonna kind of rest it right there. Lift the car back up, then I'll work at it from the bottom. Okay. Now I think what I'll do is I'll get the drain hooked up, because that's a flex line anyway. I'll get that hooked up there, then I'll tighten this, and I'll get the intercooler line put back on. All right, so we have the oil drain back line reconnected. The pedestal's snugged up, the lower intercooler line's on. So I think I'm gonna lower the car, put the coolant line back on to the turbo, the oil feed line back on, and then I'm gonna dry fit the manifold because there is a little bit of play in the pedestal so you can move the turbo slightly. And if I need to move it, now would be the time to know that if when I try fit the manifold. So I'm gonna lower the cart in. So you can see I have a little bit of adjustability right now because I don't have the bolt tight. So let me get this banjo on here for this coolant line. Okay, so I've got the coolant lines back in. So these two here, the oil feed lines back in, the oil drain line is hooked up down below. I've got the intercooler from turbo to intercooler line put back on. So what I'm going to do now is dry fit the manifold. I'm going to have to wrap it in saran wrap first, per Maddie's request. Keep my fingerprints off of it.
I don't think I have any brake cleaner. Can squirt all that off there.
Yeah, it's probably. We can go get some at AutoZone real quick.
We're gonna get used to. I got
Smoke.
carb cleaner, same thing, right?
One's ether, one's not.
There you go. Yeah, parts. You gotta get used to taking that turbo out. It'll probably be out about 4 or 5 times.
Yep.
I want to paint this block. I'm gonna get a new engine just because of that.
I know you will. I should probably. I'm gonna become the foremost Mitsubishi mechanic expert here on this work.
Yeah, somebody's got to. Some mechanical works tonight. Pull the engine just to paint the block.
That would really get people.
This thing was beautiful. You ruined it. Ruining it's way more fun than
Preserving it. It's boring.
telling me I need to drive it. I need to drive the wheels off it, man.
You are. You'll put at least 400 miles on it.
Yeah, right. It'll be fast, 400 miles. I'll be driving real fast.
Yep. Yeah, I'm glad I left it loose. So that's gonna work. So, yep.
Left what loose?
I left the turbo on the pedestal loose so I could move it around a little bit to line up with these bolts here. There's one bolt that sits on a pedestal and a little bracket.
Cool.
Pretty neat looking. You like that, Michael?
Make some good swooshing noises.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where it gets dicey. If these don't come out right.
Yeah, they're in aluminum. It's not. It'll come out.
These will work. They're the same things. They're just ARP stainless. It's like 20. I figured $20 to clean it up. Look at these little cuties. Cleaning it up. This is gonna be a nice car when I'm done with it, Mike, or when you're done with it.
So these are a different size stud. These outside two look like they're about 10 millimeter, and I think these are 8s. So we'll leave these in, which will actually be all right. You don't see them anyway.
This car's even good, like you don't have to like lean over the fenders and stuff. And the way you kind of lean, like it naturally, you stay off the bump. It's like made to
work on.
around with,
Made to work on.
And you just screw with.
See the trickaroo though? Look where the studs are, how to get the nuts started and on, tighten down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot.
Washers.
You can't even use a magnet on them now.
Nope, they're stainless. You can use needle nose, long needle nose.
Yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes. I gotta go make a call.
We got to put this on first, though. I got to get this on here and then put the.
Yeah,
Those
see,
in.
it's not that bad. I got one on for you.
Which one? The outside one?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're gonna knock it off.
Yeah, take it back off. Your hands are nice and dry. You can take that off.
Gotta saran wrap it. This makes a real joy.
All right, so it's a little bit of a pain. It's kind of blind. You can't really see back here. And I've got the turbo a little loose and the manifold a little loose, or the header a little loose, so I can move it around a bit. But it's tough to get the bolts started back here. And this stud is here. You can't double nut it, because, at least not with the nuts that came on the car originally, because the flange part of the nut, it sticks out too far and it's up against the header. So anyway, just a little bit of finagling, we'll get it. Matt bowed out. So we got the manifold attached to the turbo inlet. So the trick was, it's a pain, I'm not gonna lie. So this stud, you can't get the flange nut on there with, if you try from, if the stud's already installed, you can't get the flange nut on it, because the flange itself touches the edge of the header pipe. So what I had to do was, and also, just the tolerance and this thick metal gasket and everything, it's tough to line everything up blindly. So I didn't do the studs till last. I actually got it where I loosened the pedestal for the turbo, and it's turbo bracket. I call it a pedestal because I'm used to like Ford trucks, they have a pedestal. So anyway, I loosened everything so I had play. I got the 2 back bolts in, and then I worked on this stud, and then lastly I did this one. So I double nutted it with regular nuts, because the flange, like I said, wouldn't work. So I used a couple of these nuts that Matty had in his Rogo stash over there. Got that in, and then I loosened these slightly, loosened this nut, and separated the header from the inlet, turbo inlet. And then I was able to, because this is kind of at an angle, I was able to get the nut on afterwards. So I just lifted it up so this flange was almost top of stud, and I just got the flange nut to fit over. So now I just have to remember that, because I'm sure I'll be taking this apart again to do many other upgrades. So I have to remember how I did it. I'm not going to forget now, because I can go back and watch the video. So anyway, it's ready to go. Now I just got to get the washers and all the nuts on for the studs sticking out of the head, get the manifold or the header tightened, and get this tightened, tighten the pedestal back up, and then we'll do the exhaust. I'll do the radiator stuff later. It's so exciting. I think, well, you know what we should do? We should block off the wastegate line so it makes full boost and won't dump it. Matt's like, man, this thing's fast. We'll leave it alone. It's good. It's
You're gonna be pulling this out and put another one.
All right, maintenance continues. So we're doing oil. What else can we do? I guess we can do
transfer
coolant.
case. Well, I can't do coolant yet until we put the radiator in.
I don't think we can do the transfer case until we get the reservoir.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, rear diff's drained. Engine oil's drained. Transmission, we can do transmission.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do the trans, we can do the clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got Amsoil 10W30 synthetic. We got a new oil filter. We've got the coolant. I've got, let's see, ATF is for the transfer case. The automatic transmission fluids for that. The gear oil is for the diff. And then the 75W85 is for the transmission. And then I got power steering fluid. I think that's a little extra. I think you use like a quarter of that, one of those maybe for the power steering, but we're gonna wait on the power steering until we get because I got a new power steering reservoir, and I've got a new ACD reservoir as well. So maybe we'll wait on those. But I'm gonna work on taking the tires off. So we're gonna take the tires off because I got, man, it's such a shame. They look so good, but they're 18 years old. It's probably smart. Even though I'm gonna get aftermarket wheels, I figured it's probably smart I like having stock wheels that are fresh and ready to go. So I bought some PS4S's in a 245 4017. So I'm gonna swap the tires, and as I do that, I'm gonna clean the wheels, and hopefully I can get that weight off without jacking up the finish of the surface. Because they did front-mounted wheel weights. It's terrible. You know, one thing I could do is just leave that on there and balance against it, but I don't know. So I've got to figure out lugs too, because these goofy chrome lugs are junk. These things, no good. So we're using my new Samson. This thing is awesome. This is one of the best finds of SEMA this past year. This is from a company that's SAMSON out of Spain. But look at the
Yeah, the tray's huge.
yeah, it's freaking cool. And then it's I think 25 gallon roughly. But it's just smooth, it's the right size, it looks the part. I debadged it. Makes sense how the brakes look.
They're like brand new.
Yeah, these fade.
Yeah, but these are.
But I wonder if they won't. I wonder if they'll fade in my hands. I wonder if they just fade and.
Outside, left outside, maybe.
Yeah, you got to take care of them. I mean, I would think they would fade from heat, but I'm doing better pads, better rotors.
Imagine it's heat and sun.
Yeah, we'll probably have to pull the studs when I do the wheels. The studs will probably be too short. I'll probably have to do some bigger ones, longer ones.
You're going to put the tires on the stock wheels for now, right?
Correct. I'm putting spacers and stock wheels.
Did you get lug nuts?
I didn't. I gotta order those. I gotta find something.
Yeah, those chromies need to go.
Yeah, they're terrible. I'm gonna see if racing will make me a set of fancy ones.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm sure they do. What are these? 12 by?
I could check. 12 by 1.5 probably?
I think so. Are they? Maybe they look like 14s. Maybe.
Check.
They're pretty thick.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
So this is the real advantage of having your own tire mounting and balancing machine. Although it costs as much as this car costs to have those things, it's nice to have the machines. So we were talking about the tramp stamp on the. It's like that's a hot boy thing, you know. That's Trevor's gen. Their generation likes that kind of tramp stamp stuff.
Yep.
So.
Hold that for me.
But this is a factory size, so it's the factory length, but it's about a 1/4 inch narrower, which will help for those big turb skis that I put on here in the future.
Yeah.
Do we have to tape those fittings? How do you do that?
The threaded ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're O-ring boss.
Oh, okay. So you just hand
smash
tighten.
against the O-ring and that's it. We got to grab the other pieces out of the other radiator, put them in there. It's already tight. Tighten this one down.
So it comes with that little.
Or deep. Go deep.
What is that brand? What does that say on the fan?
SPAL.
Yes, Spall.
Yeah.
Spall fan, CSF. So this is a Sheepy Race designed. That's where I ordered it from. I ordered from Sheepy Race. Be a simple plug and play. Really easy. We'll probably have this thing out like 10 more times, so
Yeah.
I might as well buy a bunch of coolant.
Well, yeah. I think you bought 2 gallons, 50-50.
I think it's straight up, isn't it?
No, it's 50-50, non-dilute, which is good because you don't have to go buy distilled water now.
Oh, it's pre-mixed.
Pre-mixed, 50-50,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I thought, yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Pull that hose out of the way. There's one.
So
it's right
normally
there.
I would order the black version, but I think these get chipped up with black. Plus I ordered the APR radiator shroud, so it'll cover up most of it anyway. And then the AC condenser and the intercooler are all this color. So that was my methodology. I'm not buying a black version. And then I actually have
that
new,
other one. Got it.
I have new radiator stays coming, as well as a little stainless bolt to replace that little bolt that he's putting on there. But we'll put these on here. It takes 10 seconds to swap it out in the future.
That's
so.
an easy modification.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Can't believe you're tearing this perfect car apart, Mike.
I know.
This is. Oh, I wanted to bring the darn KTC, the Nepros. I forgot. Notice how the snap-on tools keep staying in the
Snap-on box.
yeah.
Well, I will say having all the inlays and nice.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
so
that's
nice.
part of it. Yeah.
So nice.
So last night after we're done, we put all the tools away. Takes 10 minutes. What are you doing right now in trans?
Did transmission, yeah. Drained it and then just put 2 quarts in it and then check level. See where we are.
Man, that's easy access.
It sure is.
This thing's easy to work on. Typical Japanese car.
Yeah.
It's great.
Let's grab another quart, Trevor. Yeah.
I'm having this.
Pour about half of it in there and see where we are.
I probably won't have this car long enough to ever
Change it
need
again.
to change it again.
That's
So-
good. Let's see if that's it.
There it is.
There, that's full now. Yep. So it was a little over 2. Let it drain off, and then we'll put the plug in.
So drain bolt was here. Point to that.
Yep, right there.
Drain bolt was there. I had to have a new one.
Yeah, not a plug, not the drain plug, but you have new washer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of things that were discontinued.
Actually, take that back. You did have a new plug. I didn't even see that one. I saw this one. Well, this is, but this could be Phil. You only bought one, so we'll just change.
I mean, I'd try to buy them all, but some of them were not available.
Well, we'll change the Phil plug.
So here's what we're dealing with. This is the module, turns it on and off, and has a specific type plug. But of course, the aftermarket one I bought doesn't have that. Now we know that when you buy an aftermarket radiator, you need a straight hose. I assumed you could reuse all the hoses. Of course not.
Braking gear wear.
So we've done engine oil, transmission,
I got
rear diff.
I have to fill the diff still. I'm gonna go fill.
You know, we could probably still do the transfer case because you can just turkey baste out.
The reservoir.
Yeah, and then just fill the reservoir back up.
I think we're getting close. Yeah. Let's see. Stop for a sec. Let's see where we are. Yep, that's full.
Dang, yeah, not even a quart.
Yep. Let it drain off. So one thing you don't want to do is overfill them. You can pour that back in that other bottle.
Little baby diff.
Yep. I have a new washer I put on there already.
Don't have a new bolt for that? No?
I don't know if you did or not. I saw this other one, but no.
Okay, so the transfer case, the ACD takes the same. I don't know why. I thought it said it on STM that you needed an automatic transmission fluid, so we'll just throw that away. But this takes the same as the diff, 0.63 ounces. So luckily I bought 2 quarts. We're right at the amount. That's the stuff. So this goes in the diff and the transfer case. I got this nifty little tool that I didn't know what it was for. That's what it's for. It's such junk.
Yeah. Well, this one didn't have one on it,
Yeah.
so it's just 3 out of 4.
Well, we tried taking it off afterward, and after removing the tire, so we had more room, and then it scratched the face of the wheel a little bit. And then these guys came right off. So I got one removed, mount the new tires. See, that thing just kind of jacks up the wheel a little bit. A stupid wheel weight. These tires. You can see from the car sitting. This tells me the car wasn't sitting in air conditioning. From the back of the tire. Like, I wonder if it was sitting like under cover, like outside.
Well, I mean, even if it's indoors, you know, for that many years, could be bugs getting in there.
You may have a dirty, it was like,
I mean,
non-drywall type
Got the
garages.
center
It was,
cap.
yeah, it comes right now. This just takes so much. This setup was worth every penny for me because just so much stress off my life, and I've been able to do all these wheels and tires I've been messing with. It's like it's the best, the absolute best. Just take the valve stem off, out the core. I only had a few tires that wouldn't stretch out enough to get the bottom mount in there. Oops. I keep letting off the go button. So I went up from a 235/45 to a 2, which was like, I think 25.3, and these are 24.7 or something like that. So the actual, if I went 245, 245,
45.
would have been, is actually a little closer. But, and I think that extra 0.3 that it adds creates a problem with clearance, especially since I'm gonna dump this sucker. So this is a road force machine. Road force means it's going to measure the tire, and then the road force balancing would mean I would take it back to the machine and rotate it if necessary. We'll see. I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to make that noise. Something's not right. It's not seated right.
It's tight, but
Something's off. Oh, your
see what
thing's...
it is. The thing was not in the lug.
Yeah.
Here. I didn't even notice that was out there. Here, do it again.
That will do it.
Yep. Oh, that wasn't, the pin wasn't in the deal.
You were on quality control on that one.
I missed you. I missed it.
You're messing up our time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what's that ticking? I've never heard that ticking before.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta rotate it. It's all right. This is when you earn your road force money, Mike.
So is this a quarter turn that we have to do, roughly?
Yeah, a little bit more than that. Yeah, something like that. So you kind of learn over time what's worth the effort. We're gonna have some sushi on the other wheels, and then I'll start working on coating them.
All right, so changed most of the fluids in the car. There was one that I didn't get around to, which is the ACD fluid, which has to do, I believe, with like yaw control, or it plays with the diffs. So anyway, I located that. The pump is here. There's a reservoir up there on top, and I think I located a drain plug back here. I believe it's a drain plug right here on the back side of the unit. So I'm gonna pull the plastic pins out of the shroud, pull that loose, and then if I pull this back, it's this right here. This looks like it's like a 5mm Allen. Crack this loose. Fluid will come out of here, and it should be red transmission fluid. There's the plug. Now, if I pull the reservoir cap, it's going to really stream out. So I think I'll just leave it trickle out slowly. Looks like it's got an O-ring. So this fluid isn't dirty or anything, it's just old. So that's the only reason we're changing all the fluids. You know, from what I know, oils and their additives degrade over time. So whether it's got a ton of miles or not, you just change the fluids out. So that's what we're doing. Who knows if it's, you know, it's probably a sealed system. So I'd imagine it doesn't have moisture or anything in it, but I mean, it's only a couple bucks to change it out. So I might as well do it. I think next I'm gonna do the brakes, get the fluid changed in the brakes. I know we're gonna change brake lines and stuff, but we can always top off for that. And I want to change, so the clutch master cylinder and brake master cylinder share the same reservoir in this car. So I'll probably go ahead and do the clutch first, get that fluid changed out. And then, yeah, the reservoir's going down. Probably need to crack that lid. Let me grab a ladder, do that so I don't have to lower the car. Anyway, so we'll do the brake fluid and clutch fluid next, and that'll be every fluid in the car, with the exception of coolant, which we can't fill up yet because Matt ordered the correct hose. There's a change to a CSF radiator, which is a 1/4 inch narrower. I don't know if it's more volume or not. Maybe it is slightly more. I don't know. I don't know how they configured it, but so when we get the right hose, it's a straight shot hose. It used to be that the outlet of the radiator, which is at the top, was towards the center of the stock radiator. This one's offset to give you room, for header clearance or turbo clearance or whatever. It's all the way over to the driver's side. So the hose, instead of it having an offset, it's almost a straight shot now. So Matt ordered I think it's a silicone hose. So when that comes, we can fill that up, and then every fluid will be done by the. Let's see. So this reservoir is right here. There's not much left in it. Okay, so the reservoir is right here for the ACD. There's the max line, is that top one right there somewhere. I don't think it's going to take much. Not much came out. I mean, obviously going to drive the car a little bit. It might burp, get a little air. So we'll just go to the max line for now. And then once he starts driving it, we'll just check it again. But I don't think it takes very much. I think it's just like a hydraulic unit, and they're just using ATF as hydraulic oil. So I think that'll do it. And we drained it, flushed it with fresh fluid, and then filled it. So I'm pretty comfortable that it's going to be well done. There we go. Check it off the list. So now we just have to do brake fluid. So the reservoir, as I mentioned, here's the reservoir for the brake master cylinder, but you can see there's a hose comes off the back side here. If you can catch that, and that goes down to the clutch master cylinder. So if we change fluid in one, it's changing fluid in both. So we'll do that next. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't fit. So I think I have to buy the correct adapter for the motive bleeder, because this looks like it would be right. It looks about the same, but this doesn't go on. I've tried it several times and clocked it every which way I can think of, and it's not right. It's not the exact size. It hooks barely on one side and then won't grab the other two. So while they look very similar, I think I've got to get on and order the right one so that I can get this bled properly, because it's much easier to do it with a pressure bleeder than to have someone pump the clutch, pump the brakes. This, you just pressurize it, crack the line, and it's as easy as that. And I think it's more effective anyway. So I'm going to order the right part for that. That won't take long. Should have that next couple days, and then we'll work on the rest of the fluids. Well, the last of the fluids. I've got to drain fuel, so I think today I'm going to go grab a couple of fuel cans, and I'm going to figure out whether I want to because there's a plug in the bottom of the tank. Let me show you guys that. So I may try that, but I'm worried if I pull the plug, capturing the fuel, it might not stream out nicely, and I don't want to get it all over the floor. So the other thing I could do is I could pull the return line off the fuel rail, turn the car to on, the fuel pump will run. So that might be neater and tidier. I can get just a fuel line hose and hook it onto the return line of fuel rail, put it in some gas cans, and then we can get rid of the bad fuel. But there is a tank drain right here. Actually, it's in a crappy spot anyway, because this is in the way. So there's a drain plug right there. Anyway, so I think that's what I'll do next today. One other thing I have to do is, this was the stock fan, stock radiator, stock shroud. This is the module that is for the fan. So you can see the stock fan plugs in right there. So Matt ordered the CSF radiator, which comes with a different fan and obviously a different plug on the end. And it doesn't come with the mount for the module. So I'm going to do a little research, but I would think that you have to use the module. So I'm going to have to fabricate a bracket. Might be able to come off of here. I'll fabricate a bracket and then I'm gonna have to cut this plug off, cut that plug off, and splice this together because they're different. And this fan has to plug into that module. This already plugs in the module. This is the factory harness. So I'm gonna have to fabricate something just to mount that thing up here. The other one was like right here. So maybe there's a tab I can use, you know, maybe, like I said, maybe here. There's really nothing on the radiator to use, but I'll figure something out. This actually, this harness clip used to plug into it too. So I think the ideal thing would be to maybe utilize that bolt and this here and make something here for it to mount to. So I'll work on that too. I'll have to get some, maybe I'll make that out of aluminum. And now I've just gotten kind of rigged up for getting all the fuel out of the car, all the stinky fuel. So this is the fuel return line. So what I did is I went and bought 8 feet, a 1/4 inch fuel line, clamped it on there. I got a couple of 5-gallon cans. So this thing has 3 fuel relays. So in order to get fuel to actually run through it, I'd have to jumper all 3 relays. There's one back here. This is one of them right here. And then there are 2 under the dash over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not even gonna use the relays. So what I'm gonna do is I pulled the seat cushion out, pulled the cover for accessing the fuel pump and sending unit. And so these 2 right here, which how you can tell is the plug, the 2 fatter wires, that's gonna be drawing current. These 2 are gonna be for probably the fuel sender, tell fuel level. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some alligator clip connectors, clip onto here and here, and apply 12 volts. So the only question is I have to make sure that I get the polarity right so it's running, because it's DC, if you switch, it won't pump, it'll go the opposite way. So I can either do that, or I can take the whole fuel pump and sending unit out of the car and get the fuel sucked out. I think that would be more of a pain in the neck. So I'm gonna try doing what I said. I'm gonna get some alligator clips, some leads, get a little 12-volt battery, jump it, and then I'll figure out polarity, and then I'll jump it and it'll fill those 5s with fuel. At least that's what I'm gonna attempt to do. All right, so what I did was I did what I thought I was gonna do, except that I found some terminals in the Rogo cabinet. So I ended up using these female spade connectors over top. Yeah, so this side is positive, this side is negative, so that way we're spinning it the correct way. I've got the NOCO booster, and then what I had to do is I have to hold this on override so it's constantly putting out 12 volts. And then I've got the negative hooked up, so you'll hear it come on. There it is. And then we come over here, and that is the fuel return line from out of the fuel rail. So that makes it nice and easy, no fuss, no muss. So rather than, this car has 3 fuel pump relays, and rather than trying to jump all the relays out, this was easier to do. So we're filling this sucker up, and then we'll fill that. I hope if we have more than 10 in the tank, I'll just come back I'll go empty these and put that in so we don't smell as much fumes, because this gas stinks. That's how you can tell when it's bad, when it smells funky and it turns kind of yellowy. I wonder how old this gas is.
I don't know why they would fill it. They knew it sit.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't plan on letting it sit because the dealership was gonna. Maybe the owner of the dealership was gonna drive it.
Hopefully, it didn't mess up the injectors clogging the
Yeah, I told Matt we'll put fresh gas and put some good, like Lucas, fuel injector cleaner in it. I don't know how well that stuff actually works, but
Liquid moly makes some good stuff.
it seems to fire up. Yeah, liquid moly too. That's right. Maybe we could use that. We're getting close. We're running out of gas. Just a little bit left in there. I don't have to take it all the way to empty because I'm going to put nice fresh gas in here.
You can hear it kind of.
Yeah, I don't want to run it too much out of fuel. It's not necessarily good for it, but I think we're not going to get a whole lot more, so I think it's beyond what we need. That's it. Call that it.
Now here's what I used. Use these. And there's the other one, and then this plug is right back on here. That's it. Yeah, they're female spades. So that's what I did. Saved a lot of work. Didn't have to pull the fuel tank, didn't have to pull the plug and get fuel all over the place trying to drain it into a pan. This made it clean. So that's so we had about 8 gallons of gas out of there. Okay, so now that the fuel's out of it, I'm gonna go grab some clean fuel, probably get like, we were talking about maybe some liquid moly or Lucas fuel treatment for the injectors, just in case there's any varnish left in the injector or the fuel rail. That'll clean it out. I think next thing we'll be waiting on is some parts. So I think all the fluids are out of the car that we're going to take out of the car now that the fuel's gone. I still have the brake master cylinder and clutch master cylinder to do, but we have an adapter coming for the Emotive pressure bleeder. So we'll hit that probably in a few days. But we got a whole bunch more parts coming in, so I think we'll call it quits for a day or so till we get some more parts in.